All right, guys. Here come to the second part of this module where we talk about where I give you some fairy news articles. The first one, Lionel Messi inspired Argentina wins World Cup after beating France in sensational final. The second one, Ronaldo sets to face Messi's PSG in Saudi Arabia's debut, and Elon Musk no longer the world richest person, Forbes. So I'd rather start with the second one because it has some key factors I would like to point out. Ronaldo set to face Messi's PSG in Saudi Arabia debut. Like, why is it Ronaldo and why is it Messi's PSG? Why not just PSG? All right, then I'm sure you can get the idea behind the headline. All right, PSG to play in a friendly in Riyadh on January 19 against the opposite team, including players from Al Nazir, Ronaldo new club, and Al Hilal. So the news itself is not even like, in fact, the funny thing is like Ronaldo might not play in the match and Messi might not play in the match. Well, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but the point is like the headline is centering on the two key factors that the audience will be interested in. All right. So, and in the intro, Cristiano Ronaldo's first game in Saudi Arabia is said to be against Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, and his new career-long rival, Lionel Messi. PSG said that on Monday it will play a January 19 friendly in the year against a composite team. Composite team is like team from different clubs. From Ronaldo new club, Hanazan Al, they are the current Asian Champions League that's older. Now, this is something that's interesting. Qatar owned PSG is visiting Saudi Arabia during a 2 days break in the region. Now, the reporter could choose not to add the Qatar-owned PSG behind it. He could have just said PSG is visiting Saudi Arabia during a 2 day break in the region. But the journalist used the opportunity to let you know or remind you that Qatar owned PSG. All right. Apology if you're not into football, but if you're into football, most time the people that own or the companies that own these clubs are not usually the attempts are based outside the country or the how should I put it? Okay, let me try to use this to get into your memory. This should be easier for you to connect. When Dangote wanted to buy Arsenal, Dangote is a Nigerian. Arsenal is a football club in London. Dangote is not by any way related to London. I'm very sure it does not own a UK citizenship or England citizenship. Nevertheless, he could actually bid to buy the club. So, the so because of the point there, I decided to search who owns PSG, and then Paris Saint-Germain owner is Qatar Sport Investments (QSI), and also the organization or the company code is interested in buying Tottenham, Manchester United, and Liverpool. So the journalists use the opportunity to just tell you or remind you Qatar-owned PSG is visiting Saudi Arabia during a 2 day break in the region, which will include a visit to Doha for promotional work with the club portfolio of Qatari sponsors. Ronaldo and Argentina Messi have been dominated sport for over 15 years, winning the Ballon d'Or 12 times between them. The rivalry grows. Now, this is more like giving a background information because most time news reporting can be funny that after USA the headline, the whole news is done. So I mean, what will not happen? So indirectly, when creating a news article, something they can take out of this particular article, they can maybe they didn't pay attention before. It's like how they get the headline. We'll be more interested in Messi than PSG, honestly. If I will not do ask more followers on Instagram than all the football clubs, more than Man U, more than Liverpool, more than any club that you belong. Ronaldo is has highest number of followers on Instagram, so indirectly has more followers than this club. So this shows that individuals even have more interest than football club itself. So the journalist is aware of this and decided to use Ronaldo in his headline. So Ronaldo said to face Messi's PSG. Now, if they have just said Messi there, the news can come as erroneous. And unlike many people that believe in the idea of clickbait in journalism, the point is like it is not applicable in international journalism or standard journalism. You can create wonderful headline that people will want to read without doing what we call clickbait. When if your publication is centered on doing clickbait, after a while, people will get fed up you, get fed up, and who knows? So it is not something that I think a big publication will want to or do. So there's no point trying to create something contrary to the news. I won't stereotype the Nigerian journalists do it. I know quite a good number of Nigerian publications that don't use clickbait, and they have good high number of readership. I'm not against clickbait, and I'm definitely not going to support it. But I'm just trying to let you know that there is different way you can create great headline without indulging in trying to get clickbait. So the information here is accurate. However, the journalists could pinpoint what we catch readers' attention most. And honestly, that's the reason why I'm interested in this news. Because Ronaldo, who has already left the big major tournament, is currently about to face Messi. How possible? So reasons connected to it is because of the organization that owns PSG, Saudi Arabia bid to ensure that they promote their leagues and the like. So all these things add up when you're creating your news information. What are the extra information that you can let the audience know? What are the kind of adjectives that you can incorporate? How do you get your headline together? Now, Hannes, or whatever it's called, is not a club that I'm actually interested in, but then the journalist decided to do a little bit background check or add further background information. Okay, the United Saudi Arabia League champions have called Ronaldo signing more than history in making, whatever. And because the news is very close to the period of World Cup, so the latest and possible final chapter of Ronaldo illustration career comes week after Portugal World Cup qualifying exits in Qatar. So let's quickly delve into the other news, which is a third on the list. Elon Musk no longer world richest person, Forbes. So is it is a good news or a bad news? It's neither of the two. It's just a normal news. All right. Elon Musk is no longer the world richest person according to Forbes this time ranking. Remember, there's the headline and there's the lead or the length. All right. So the first line already get information. Elon Musk is no longer the world richest person according to Forbes real-time billionaire ranking. So the news itself is based on Forbes real-time ranking. So there are different ways you can build your news. If you observe something strange, like the slightest change in this world, there are people who will be interested in it. All right. Simply just adding a there that, oh, this person is no longer the richest person in the world makes up to the news. And actually, Elon Musk is no longer the world richest person. It's not Bernard Arnault. People wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known if not for news report that carried it as at that time, even though I follow Forbes growth billionaire list at times, but I'm no longer interested. Not at least not very much. I'm not a billionaire. So what's this point? So, but the point is like, there are people who follow these things. I'm not saying that this particular news keep me informed that Elon Musk no longer the world richest man. The seconds that it was no longer the Forbes carried it, I knew. And the same time, thing this reporter did, and this is published on the EU. So, Elon Musk no longer the world richest person according to Forbes billionaire list. Bernard Arnault and the family who own a luxury goods company, LVMH, surpasses Musk on the list as Tesla share fell sharply and LVMH stock price simultaneously increased early this week. Now, this is the reason why Elon Musk is no longer the exchange person. His company shares, which is Tesla, fall, or rather fell. So now, immediately, second paragraph, the journalist give us the information. No stress, no headache. Like, even if I decide not to read the remaining news, I have achieved a great success just by opening this news and getting the key information. When I send out information on the EU, I will want to click on it and read it because They are straight to the point. Now, the next paragraph also give another vital information. Musk net worth clock in at 176.8 billion as of Tuesday compared to Arnold 186.6 billion according to Forbes. Arnold company including many clothing luxury brand. Okay, but Arnold owns most of if you're into wearing luxuries. Louis Vuitton, mostly all the luxury brands out there is owned by Bernard Arnault, and is a francophone, French citizen to precise. And then the story continues till we get here. Pretty short and straight to the point. So the entire news here, I don't think it's will be more than 300 words. That is if it is up to it. So they decided to invest, add quite a good number of videos. And even the video is not about this particular news. This Ronaldo signing when it was at Al Nazar. And the second video is Messi Ronaldo league tributes at Pele Beth. So news ratings don't usually, or news articles don't usually need to be extremely long, especially when you get your news reports, right? Okay. All right. Sorry, I was here. The same thing for here, hardly up to 200 or 300 words, and covers the 2 points. And then, Elon Musk no longer the world richest person, Forbes. In the previous video, I told you that anything about Elon Musk is a hit. Okay. Uh, Anything about Elon Musk is a hit. Okay, the journalist could have chosen to say Bernard Arnault is now the world richest person. And honestly, quite a lot of people will be interested, but there will be people who are interested in it, Bernard Arnault, or people who even know the name at all. Okay, he owns NSC, he owns everything. If I'm to create a news related to Bernard Arnault, honestly, I'll put Louis Vuitton, NSC, and many of the luxury products that he owns before I use his name, because these products are even more popular than him. So, and when you probably are looking for something that you can use for your news headline and you are confused, you can simply just go to Google Trends, and trends.google.com, and then enter the two names. Enter the two names or the parties involved, and then pretty good to go. So with that, you can compare the search results or search volume. Also, you may consider the location. For example, if you are targeting France, honestly, I think more people should be interested in Banana than Elon Musk. I think so. Not like I'm certain. So it's more like nobody knows Banana based on these reports by Google Trend. So people are interested in Elon Musk, but more or less nobody is interested. Yeah, and then funny is that, so when, let's say I'm a French journalist and I'm trying to create something, I may decide to, and I'm publishing a news that is going on a France publication, then I may still very low, but then at least there was once a time that people were more interested in Bernard not than Elon Musk. So you want to be sure of. However, let's search for NSC. Do I get my NSC like this? I'll remove Elon Musk. So let's see who is, and then I will go for worldwide. So NSC is even more popular than Bernard Arnault, and I think Bernard Arnault owns NSC and many other products. Let's see. Yeah, he owns NSC, he owns Louis Vuitton, he owns several luxury products, about 17 numbers. So you want to center your news on things like this. So who is the key factors? Who is more important, more popular in this news? Honestly, Bernardo is more important in this than Elon Musk because he's the new richest man in the world. And I think people should know it. Even now that Elon Musk is covering the headline, someone who did not open this news will most likely not know that Bernardo is not the richest person. They will just know that Elon Musk is no longer the richest person in the world. So if you ask anybody who have probably read this headline without reading the news contents, they wouldn't know. That creates a kind of suspense. So the journalists may argue that that is why they didn't include his name. But then the point is like he deliberately added Elon Musk's name because Elon Musk is more of a popular factor, like a big name, more prominence than Bernard Arnault. All right, the news does not really evolve around Bernard Arnault as much as Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is no longer the richest person then. So I will now go to this one, which will be the third. All right, Lionel Messi wait for World Cup glory is finally over after Argentina beat France in a dramatic penalty shootout on Sunday. All right, this news was immediately after Argentina won the World Cup. Okay, so and then here, for example, Lionel Messi inspired Argentina wins World Cup after beating France in sensational final. Now, God knows that it was Argentina that won the World Cup, and of course, Messi also won it as a key player. But without Messi in this news, Argentina, the point is like they want to let us know that who will win this World Cup. But then the news headline is even shedding more lights on Messi than Argentina. So you want to know who are the audience, like what are the audience interested in? So when you are trying to create a good news content, some things that you should consider is try to add a couple of information to support your information, your news content. All right, do external research or further research if you have to. Who owns this club? Who who was the father of this person, who is the son, who is more famous, connected, what are some kind of new information that they can attach to make my readers at least get another information or another knowledge, just the same way that the journalist here has already make me know or make us know that Qatar owns PSG. All right. And just same way that will they struggle to at least add their mathematics together to let us know in the last 15 years, Messi and Ronaldo has won Ballon d'Or 12 times, meaning that there's only 30 people that won it in between. And then if the journalist was interested, he could also have added it, maybe a Modric within it, and then Benzema who won its latest. So these kind of things that you can chip in your news content to make it more interesting. And if you do not mind me extending this video a little bit further, let me quickly visit. Should I go to Forbes? Let's visit Nigerian websites. Trying to see if we can see something that we can point out so you can like not give the impression that this is a practice in only among foreign journalists. All right. Let's look at this next, for example. Obi promises to negotiate with Biafran agitators. The presidential candidate for Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, on Tuesday said the presidency of Nigeria is not a retirement loan. He said that the country needs a stinging leader at the moment. Obi also said he owed no one an apologies for being stingy, adding that he is the youngest, the fittest, and the most qualified candidate to be president among the four leading contestants. He said these are the All Saints Cathedral Field in Anambra State before a crowd of supporters. I'm trying to see where he really talk about the headline, which is Obi promised to negotiate to Biafran agitators. All right. We all we are coming to this end so from building in Nigeria. In Nigeria, nobody's safe. families are beginning to eat. What I did in Anambra, I will do it in Nigeria. Blah 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 blah. I hope these people did not try to clickbait us here. All right. He said he will negotiate with the dictator to make peace in the country, which has been taken over by receptiveness. But if those cautions causing insecurity and sensitive refuses, we will tell them that we have a government in Nigeria. Now, I don't know, maybe I should try to go into why this. I mean, there are quite a lot of things that Peter Obi said are the so-called cathedral at Onitsha, but then the journalist chose to use this headline because, funny enough, the pointing factor here is not that much because I've not really read the news and the others. I just said we review it together. But based on the paragraph and where this information is hiding, he said it would negotiate with dictators to make peace in a country which has been taken over by resistiveness, whatever. He said, we are coming to do end suffering and build a new Nigeria. In Nigeria, nobody is safe. What I did in Anambra, we will negotiate, but whoever refuses, we tell him there's a government. All right, so I'll quickly go up back. So now, in the introduction, the journalists quickly remind you or let you know that Peter Obi is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Without actually trying to do like it's really reminding you. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, on Tuesday said presidency of Nigeria is not a retirement loan, insisting that the country needs a stingy leader at the moment. Pinpoints like the headline, the lead is far from the headline, honestly. I think I have a personal problem with some kind of news report like this. I'm not saying they are bad. Okay, I do not have a degree to contain news content. I only know kind of news content that I love, and I know the kind of news content that I admire and pretty common in the journal, in the news content or news publications that I often read. Then, so, Biafra agitation, we all know what Biafra is a big aspect of Nigeria history, and we know who Peter Obi is. I assume so. So when you're creating your news content, you can at least, I think I will endorse this. There's something great about in the news. And I understand why the person used this lead. It's because it is interesting, but it's actually far from the headline. So we have our different styles of writing. Yeah, Messi inspired just now when it's woke up. This is connected to the key headline. So let's see if I think let's give it a cover, hopefully. Daniel Logistic just stream gives us $13 million in $13 million pre-Series A. A Ghanaian technology company operating in logistics sector has raised straight to the headline, like straight to the point, no confusion, just from Africa. Straight. This is kind of news report that I will more or less encourage, but I'm not saying that creating something far from your headline is a taboo. Okay, it's not a taboo in journalism. Journalists have different style. Platforms are adopting the way style. Some platforms are trying to stand out. I made mention of it in the previous video that some news publication platforms are actually stands out and quite popular because of the way they write. And my big role model or a publication that I really like is New York Times. Go to Forbes and the likes, observe the way they create the headline, observe the way they connect it from the lead, observe the way they break the news content down. So you need to do this. There's no way you are going to call yourself a journalist when you're not following the news yourself. The US may breach. The US may breach the debt ceiling. That would be very bad. If Congress fails to increase the government's borrowing limits in time, the result will be a shock to the economy and financial market. You can see the headline, you can see the lead. I will not be able to read this news because it is paid. And I usually subscribe at times. So trying to live a day without plastic, it is all on us. So when you're creating your news line, try to connect your leads to it, especially if you're targeting global publications. It's very important. So that is that on this part of it. So we've already successfully reviewed the three news publications or news articles that I think are worthy of reviewing. They're quite a lot. You can check out for these factors. Look at different ways that they are giving us hints on further information on the subject of the news. Like the Punch journalist opening the news with the presidential candidate for Labour Party, Peter Obi, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's an additional information, not just Peter Obi said. Okay. And like the journalist at Al Jazeera decided to say Qatar on PSG is visiting Saudi Arabia during a 2 days break. You can notice how or observe how they get their how they bring out the key factors or key names in the headlines to create the headlines, to create a good headline, in the news to create a good headline. You can observe the way they get the sub headline, which is also more or less like a lead. All right. And then you can also know how this journalist started from Elon Musk is no longer the world richest person according to Forbes ranking. And I mean, from the most important information down to the less important information. Remember, inverted pyramid, like from the most important down to the least important. All right, thank you for staying to the end of this video.